They go into the Pac-12 tournament, they win it, then they go into the NCAAs, and they put up a bucket load of points. They have looked fantastic. That's not the team that I saw in the regular season.
All those people that had all that extra time because of those COVID seasons is going to be gone, and you're not going to really have the 23, 24, 25-year-old basketball players running around anymore. You're not going to have it.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Start of Major League Baseball just around the corner. So there is no rest for the weary here, as we've got plenty to go over here beginning tonight in the NBA. 41-32 right now. Cavs over the Hornets. Didn't realize the Hornets are actually still in the NBA. We have also the Nets and the Raptors going at it, 18-16. We got the Celtics, who are just going scorched earth right now, taking over the Hawks here on 32-19. And the New York Knicks, somebody's got to tell the Pistons there is an actual game going on, 32-9 or 29-9 rather, with still about 5 minutes to go there in the first quarter. So welcome in here, guys. Couple of games coming up, including the Wizards and the Bulls. Taylor, how was your weekend? And I know you got a prop in there that involves you-know-who, so you can say it and you-know-who will wear it. So lay it out for us here, girl.
I had a wonderful weekend. I'm going to be honest, my weekend did not consist of a lot of sports. It consisted of a lot of country music. I went to Nashville and had myself a little vacation with my friends. So it was a good trip. Watched a lot of basketball, but we were listening to a lot of music at the same time, so I wasn't as in tune as I probably would have been if I was at home. For that Bulls game, let's just go all Alex Caruso overs. That means all Dave Sharapan overs.
That's it.
Dave and Alex both having big nights tonight.
Why not? If it ain't broke, we ain't fixing it.
Why
there
not?
It is. Alex, yeah.
Why not?
Mr. Caruso looks good.
Let's go.
Yep, let's do it.
Joe, seriously, when you look at the NBA board today, there's 11 games. Every one but 3 was 9 or more. There's football spreads on these games pregame. 17, 14 and a half, 13 and a half. I looked at it and went, man, I really hope Taylor's on tonight because I got the headband. I'm ready to go. There better be player props, individual stuff. These games, there's a lot of fatigue. There's a lot of basketball fatigue today, just in general, in the business, because it's so immersive Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, despite all the favorites winning pretty much, and most of them covering. The people had a great weekend. That's fine. But like today, everybody's like, oh, look at these games. What am I going to do? Washington's playing Chicago. I hope Sharapan has the headband. Like the Rockets have won 9 in a row, right? I think the Rockets have won 8 or 9 in a row. Nobody even knows. The computer didn't even know what to do with this. Just pick them by 12. That's what the line is. I don't know. I didn't find too many edges in the games tonight, Joe.
Well, again, multiple touchdowns here. So, it's that time of the season where we have teams that are still battling, right? Like Houston, trying to get on a roll here, try to solidify themselves into the playoffs. And then you have other teams, like we mentioned, Detroit and Charlotte, who are already booking vacations, heading to Nashville, listening to country music. They're going to do anything but play basketball here over the last couple of weeks. So it makes it very difficult, Dave, to kind of hone in here. Yeah, you kind of look for those spots where I got one team who's got something to play for. I got another team that's got nothing to play for. We're going to try to fade those teams that have nothing to play for and back teams like the Celtics, right, who are going scorched earth. Houston Rockets, 10-1, by the way, straight up and against the number in their last 11 games. And that one is coming up here also, Dave, I believe, at the 8 o'clock at the, just about ready to go with Portland. The problem with Portland is they have nobody playing. How do you open a number at 10.5, and it gets bet up to 14.5, 15? Because that's where we're at right now here. It's a fun time of year, isn't it?
No, it's not fun for anybody, especially in the book. No, I'll do a U. I'll do a completely eliminatory. No. But listen, I got the Phoenix stuff. We can talk about Phoenix.
Oh,
Phoenix is playing San Antonio, and I love
look at that Suns hat.
Yeah, the purple old school.
I like it.
Listen, San Antonio means well, but Phoenix is still playing for the 7, 8, 9, 10 in the West. It's more engaging than the teams above them. Like this race, how this is going to play out. Phoenix better lay one on San Antonio tonight. But in the book, like you got a line move for the Houston game you just mentioned. 4 points. At least you finally found the number for the Phoenix game. I mean, it's getting ready to tip off. Do either of you want San Antonio tonight?
Yes.
No, I'm, of course, all over the Suns.
Right.
We got to get 4 in a row. I like Kevin Durant over 3.5 assists. And I also like Bradley Beal over his points total tonight in that game.
Are they all playing?
Are you sure?
Are they all playing in Phoenix?
Yeah, I was going to say, are we sure somebody didn't stub a toe?
I think they're all playing.
I'm just saying.
Pretty positive they're all playing tonight.
Okay. That's good.
Victor Wembanyama is not playing, but I will tell you, it was brought to my attention earlier today that the San Antonio Spurs, without Wembanyama on the court or starting in the game, they are 8-1 to the over. So that turns out they go, they lose their rim protector and they go up tempo and they end up scoring a lot more points than you think there. And it makes sense, right? What defense do they have if Wembanyama's not over there swatting guys left and right? So the number is what, Dave? I mean, I know this 224. It opened at 221. So even with all the guys out for Portland, all the guys out for San Antonio, including Wembanyama, gotta go 234.5. I mean, let's see. The Rockets could probably drop 120 themselves. How much are you going to need?
235. 2 places out here in Vegas. The Rockets game is a little bit lower, but it's one of those situations where, like, you have a game right now. I just checked the scores. The Celtics are up 44-22. It's the end of the first quarter. They doubled them up.
Oh, that was at the half.
36-17. No, that's the end of the first quarter. So the problem becomes when you bet the total over, it becomes that big of a blowout. The starters don't play the fourth quarter. It might be better to play team total in some of these situations, Joe, because then you're just going to get aggravated, and we don't want people to get too aggravated after the weekend. I mean, everybody's feeling flush. Everybody's firing today.
Yeah.
They won.
No, nobody's fired. No, nobody's fired. We'll be back.
Look where he is. He's not in the low block.
Hey,
he's on the wing.
Yeah, but he's back.
He pounds in. He's throwing elbows, too.
That's a man move.
That's a grown man move, but he's throwing elbows. The steal. The foul. No call. No call.
Look
The
who
Silver
won.
Fox missed another one. The humanity.
In the corner, Caleb Love, the arms are up. Come on, I haven't had a touch in a minute.
25.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Betting in game, there's a big difference, right? Like the computer changes the number so often. Like, I tried to get this in right now, but in reality, as I saw plus 165 in the arena, they're hitting the shot, and I'm getting this like a couple of seconds late. And even the sports book, like, technology can only travel so fast.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Prime time.
Back-to-back just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in here, In-Game Live, and we are primetime here on the SportsGrid Network as we all try and come down from what was inevitably a wild, crazy, and chaotic weekend there. When it comes to March Madness, it is each and every year, but it works out well because we get a couple of days to lay off of college hoops, maybe get reacquainted with the NBA, or maybe get reacquainted with the NHL, because it does feel like, Dave, that the entire world stops once March Madness, that opening weekend comes. That Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a day and a half to recoup. You're really raring to go back again on Wednesday, and then, of course, we have Thursday with the Sweet 16. So it's very well thought out. I will say that. They've done a very good job of piquing people's interest, burying them, and then reviving them to get back up on their feet come Thursday, Friday.
For sure. No, it's true. The only thing they changed was the schedule. Like, there's late games now for back east on both Saturday night and Sunday. I mean, that Saturday night game, I was riveted to Creighton in Oregon. That game was, Oregon led for 46 of the 50 minutes and lost the game. You were holding a +6. That was a tough one to lose. They didn't cover any of the numbers. And then last night, watched Houston almost blow the game to Texas A&M. It's, I can tell you this. Do you think, like, the combined seed number for the Final Four before the tournament was 12.5? Over or under, when you add up all four seeds. I originally thought that was going to be over. I still want to believe that it's going to be over. But all the ones and all the twos are here. I don't know, Joe. I'm waiting for this big upset. I mean, can NC State go win a game? Is that worthy of a bet?
No.
I mean, look at that. Look at that number. They got a K behind their number. Can the Zags beat Purdue? Can they do it?
Is K for kidding? Because you got to be kidding me with that number and this team. So maybe that's just what they're trying to tell us here. The reality, listen, we went last year, I think was the first year without a number one seed somewhere in and around the Final Four. And it's always usually one seed, or, we ain't going to have that this year. I think it proved to be very chalky the last couple of days here in around the 32. I do think the cream will rise to the top, and ultimately, I wouldn't be shocked, Dave. I don't know about you. I wouldn't be shocked if it was 4 number ones. Nothing about that would surprise me this year.
Oh, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know. They're like 3.5, 4 point favorites. And the second game that they're going to have to play. Usually, when you really like the 1 seed, they got a game like UConn's got against San Diego State, almost double digits, and they're going to win. That's the one that I think I feel the most confident about, because I don't know if they're not going to be tested. I mean, not that no one's not trying, but like North Carolina's playing Bama in the West. There it is right there. I mean, they're not even favored. So
yes, that's good though. That's good. That's good.
They're not,
because they were also only laying 3.5 against Michigan State, which I thought was hilarious. As they won 9 this weekend, and how did that work out as well? Now, Taylor, you were in Nashville, and I know one of the regions was in Memphis. What was the basketball atmosphere like there? What was the March Madness like there in Nashville while you were hanging?
Being honest, not
none, huh? Really?
Atmosphere while I was there. No, everybody else was much more excited for the Wings Predators game. That was definitely the talk around Nashville. Yeah, definitely hockey.
Wow.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was so surprised yesterday. was my day of plans with my girlfriends, and unfortunately the rest of my girlfriends are not very into sports, so I didn't get to really, like I said, watch a bunch of the games closely in the days prior. Yesterday I was like, I really wanted to watch the Purdue game, which ended up being a blowout and not very interesting, but I was like, I really want to go watch the games. There was barely anybody there even paying attention to the games at all.
Really?
I don't think anybody really cared. But like you guys were just saying, it's been very chalky.
Wow.
The March Madnessing, the madness isn't madnessing right now. I think it's been a little subpar so far, but you're coming off of a year last year where you had all these underdogs make it so far and win so big, and then this year you've got the usuals, the favorites, coming away with everything, I guess, as it should be, but there hasn't been as much madness.
So I thought Tennessee would have drew a crowd there. You know what I mean? They were playing Saturday night, I think they played. And I thought for sure you were going to say, oh, yeah, no, it was all orange. It was all Tennessee. And you're like, nope, it not good, huh? That kind of surprises me.
Oh, they love the Predators.
No, and even Saturday,
that's surprising.
They've got, the hockey fandom there is huge. On Saturday, I went to, it's called Almost Friday. Almost Friday. It's a sports bar down in Nashville. They started from that social media company called Friday Beers. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them, but they basically made their first brick and mortar sports bar there in Nashville. I was expecting there to be a huge turnout of people there watching the games too. No, there was barely anybody there.
Wow.
I had a great time there. They took care of my friends and I. They had a fun, little tournament going on at the bar. So it was really fun. We stayed and we watched some of the games, but nobody was very into it. No, I was very surprised.
I mean, that's SEC country, Dave. You would think SEC country with Tennessee being in the game that they'd be closing, they'd be closing shop there and celebrating. Kind of crazy there.
It's a regional thing. It really is a regional thing, and it's fun to see. That's why I love it out here, because all these people from all these different places come here just to watch the games. So you have pockets of fans.
They're called degenerates, Dave. They're called degenerates.
And that's true.
Yes.
That's true. That's true, yes. But seriously, when you're like, I mean, growing up in Pittsburgh, this wasn't that big of a deal except for the hoops junkies. They were getting ready for the hockey playoffs. They were getting ready for baseball season in baseball markets. If you're not in a college town that's still playing, hell, I was at Penn State this year. They made it to the second round. They beat UCLA. I was the only kid in my dorm that even knew they were playing. They're like, "What are you so excited about?" Like the hoop team just beat UCLA.
What?
Nobody knew.
Crazy.
Nobody. Yeah, it was a minor thing. There were more people excited like this weekend that Penn State wrestling won a national championship, and they set a record for the amount of points. It was huge, so
I did see that, being a Hawkeye.
Yeah, see, they had that on in Nashville. They had that in Nashville, but the University of Tennessee basketball, nothing with that game. See, let me ask you that, because you bring up a good point. I'm wondering how good Yale could have been if the band actually went with them to March Madness. I'm thinking they were definitely short. The band let them down, man. Just let them. I'm just saying. I mean, what a dud.
Band go. When you make it to the madness, you got to send the band. They got to go. I don't understand that. Like, how much
prior
money are we saving?
engagement.
Let them go.
Who in the world is booking the
What's a bigger
Yale
prior
marching
engagement than
band?
that?
Well, they probably didn't think they were going.
How is that even possible? Like,
Right.
listen, you got enough in that endowment to buy yourself an alternate band and send them. Like, there's so many things, there's so many questions with that. And the fact that they got blown out with the Idaho State band playing is just, there's all sorts of things wrong with all of that. But maybe they were in Nashville opening for somebody and we completely missed it.
They were at Tootsie's, I saw.
Maybe that's what I'm talking about. Unbelievable. All right, we'll take a look at the scoreboard when we get back here. It is InGame Live, and we are PrimeTime.
Look where he is. He's not in the low block.
Hey, this is
he's on the wing.
Yeah, but he's back.
He pounds in. He's throwing elbows, too.
That's a man move.
That's a grown man move, but he's throwing elbows. The steal. The foul. No call. No call.
Look
The
who it
Silver
was.
Fox missed another one. The humanity.
Oh, in the corner, Caleb Love, the arms are up. Come on, I haven't had a touch in a minute.
25.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Betting in game, there's a big difference, right? Like the computer changes the number so often. Like, I tried to get this in right now, but in reality, as I saw plus 165 in the arena, they're hitting the shot, and I'm getting this like a couple of seconds late. And even the sports book, like, technology can only like travel so fast.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We do have Bo, though. And welcome back in-game live. We are PrimeTime here on this glorious Monday. the Monday after madness. But if you thought this weekend was crazy, wait until you get a load of the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, of course, Final Four, and the crowning of a national champion. There is nothing like March Madness here in all of sports. And, it's a couple of people now. Most of us are going to, we get to breathe here on a Monday or Tuesday and then get right back going because the lines, Dave, you had mentioned it, in these games here outside of UConn, right? I mean, it's pretty much, how much is Purdue going to beat Gonzaga by? How many? I mean, how much? You look at some of these lines and you're going, all right, this is much more realistic. But even still, I still think that forget the spreads, just pick the winner. Just pick the winners at this point.
That's at this point now. We got competitive games. Illinois, Iowa State. That's going to be a monster. 2-3 seeds. At a 2 and a 3. You got North Carolina's only 4 over Alabama. That's a 1 and a 5, right? Or a 1 and a 4 seed. Clemson, Arizona's a little bit much. Okay. Houston and Duke. Look at there's the line right there for Clemson and Arizona. That's one of the biggest spreads, 6.5. Minus 295 on the money line. Feels like a high total. We'll see. Houston and Duke. I don't know if Duke, the way they played yesterday, and the fact that a lot of people in the space, and it was one of the public darlings, JMU. I don't know if I'm biased to the purple or what. I thought they would be more competitive. I think the Duke love is going to come this week, Joe. I think we're going to see a lot of Duke against Houston. Another competitive spread. The South, I don't. You're totally against NC State beating Marquette, I guess. You don't think they got a shot? I mean, the number would indicate that they got an outside shot.
No. K is for kidding. Stop it. They are not, under any circumstances, going to beat Marquette, who, quite honestly, I know they're a 2 seed, but let's be realistic. If you watch them play these couple of games here with Kolek, this is a dangerous team. Oh, very dangerous team. They can score. They can defend. I'm looking forward to that. And I think they've got ultimately the only team in this tournament they can't beat is the team that beat them 3 times is UConn. So anybody else, I think they're alive with, except for UConn. That might be the biggest problem here. But it is the biggest spread on the board here right now is Connecticut and San Diego State, 11, right? Yeah. That's the Big Ten. So I don't know. Taylor, are you convinced that Connecticut's the best team left in this thing? I mean, it would certainly think that 11. There hasn't been many. It's been a while since you've had a repeat champion. Would it surprise you if UConn is a repeat champ? Because the numbers are telling us it's got a pretty good chance of happening.
It would not surprise me. I took UConn to go back-to-back here, win the whole thing again. The only other, I guess, thing that I thought about a little bit is, I don't know, I've liked Arizona's chances a little bit throughout the whole time, too. Maybe that's because I'm here in the state, and maybe because, the Final Four of the championship game is going to be played here as well. I like what I've seen out of Arizona thus far, though, too. I like what I've seen, but I'm all in on UConn right now to win it all.
So if there is a Final Four that is with an Arizona team, would that mean that because I know you can't bring your girlfriends because they don't watch sports, so we know this. So you're going to be on your own there, Taylor, again. But does that mean you'll be heading to a Final Four here and repping if that's what it comes down to?
I'm not sure, Joe. Maybe I haven't thought about it enough. I got to look at what ticket prices would be for like that. I would probably be willing to go. I shouldn't say my girls don't watch. It's not particularly college basketball. It's not they're big NFL girlies. They'll watch me a little.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's Dave, how big is that? You know that. I mean, where they're going to be playing at is what? Where the Suns play?
No, They're going to play it where they played the Super Bowl. They're going to play it in Glendale in the football stadium. So it's out there. And the only problem, like, I have never been to a Final Four. And depending on how the schedule works out, I'm going to go. I've already, I could shoot down there from here easy.
You're going.
I'm going. All right, because tickets will be easy to get. The problem is that most of the tickets, you go and you watch the game on the big board because you're so far away from the court in a football stadium. We're going to have it here in Vegas, I guess, at Allegiant in a couple years. I don't know about watching a basketball game in a football stadium, Joe.
In a football
not really
stadium.
A big fan of it. It's not.
Now,
but
have you seen one
in that football stadium right now?
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's what I thought. Okay.
Good point, T.
It's not a great look. I agree.
No,
I agree.
But I think
how many
we'll get a lot
how
of
many
people
seats in there though? 80,000? What is it?
Like
60, 70, 80?
Yeah,
that's a huge amount.
I mean, they rope off half of it.
Totally
right?
different.
They closed the one side and built those seats up on the one side. But I don't know. I think the Thursday and Friday session is going to dictate the excitement for the weekend.
What everything else is. Yep.
And Thursday and Friday will determine everything. Because I mean, if you get a couple to one seeds upset, then it's going to get super, super regional. Like, I don't know if they want that. I think they need the ones and the twos to kind of get there. I'm looking forward to. I mean, there's 3 Big East teams in it. Can there be, the way the bracket's set up, can there be 3 Big East teams playing to go to the Final Four? I think UConn's going to. I think Marquette's going to. I don't know if Creighton's going to, Joe. That's the one for me. You don't think so? They're out?
No.
Just like
I think they're out.
Creighton's losing to Tennessee?
I think they are done. I think Tennessee can although I'm a little bit upset now that Tara saying like nobody cared that Tennessee was even playing this weekend in Nashville, which is a little disturbing.
I might actually even be able to make it even worse that I'm not even sure if I saw a Tennessee hat, shirt, Volunteers gear on. I'm really thinking about it. I really can't remember seeing any. Yeah.
That is mind-blowing.
I don't know how
like,
I do it. I don't know how much. But the Volunteers, I don't know how far away they are from Nashville.
From Knoxville to Nashville, Dave?
It's 4
it's huge. Is it really? Is it that?
Yeah, it's 4.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
but still.
Part of it. Still.
Who else are you rooting for in Tennessee?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's like, it's got to be University of Tennessee. Nobody cares. Vanderbilt down the road, yes, but let's go. They're still looking for a coach.
Memphis?
And by the way, you said tickets would be available. How much are tickets to a Final Four like this? I would imagine sold out? No? 2.5 hours we're hearing. 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. Thank you, Patrick. That was good. No, obviously the close seats more expensive. And also depending on the teams. Like, last year, San Diego State and UConn.
It was wide open. Yeah, it was wide open. You had FAU in the Final Four. It was like, the place you're going to have to. They were giving away tickets here like chiclets. They were like, you get a ticket. You get a ticket.
Come on.
Somebody just show up here. Kind of out of control here. But I think if Arizona's repping, Taylor, I think that's going to be a hot ticket. Now, how far are you from this football stadium?
I'm like 25, 30 minutes. Not far at all. Easy drive over to Glendale. Yeah. Easy drive.
Then you got to go. You got to go. Absolutely got It's Final Four. You got to go check it out just to see what it is all about. Because we know that the Phoenix Suns, in all likelihood, won't be playing for anything even remotely close to something like. I'm just saying, Phoenix is kind of sticking a fork in. No, come on, look at this. Already, you're losing 29-22 to the San Antonio Spurs without Victor Wembanyama. And remind us, what were we looking at in assists for Durant in this game? Right,
Kevin Durant over 3.5 assists. What's he got for us thus far?
That's. I think he stubbed his toe. He's out. Let me see. Just a minute. I'm just saying. It wouldn't shock me. Hold on. Let's see. He's got to be. Booker has got
3
11
assists already in 9 minutes.
There
3
you go.
assists already in 9 minutes.
That's how you do it right there.
Fantastic.
I'll take a bow on that.
Fantastic.
Looks like it's good.
That was well done. How is Caruso doing? Do we have an update, Dave, with the headband?
I'm not looking. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, we're going to look. We're going to have to look now here.
That's fine.
Caruso assists and over 1.5 3-pointers, I think, is the usual bet we make.
Good. That's the usual. Let's see what he's got right now.
See where he's going. Because he's over, Dave.
While you're looking,
he's not doing
I have
well.
Taylor's best bets in the next segment. So we need
1 assist.
How many's he got? How many does he have?
No
4
points, 1 assist, no rebounds. That's it. He's only played 7 minutes.
They only have 15 points. They're not.
Dave, you got to put the band back on. You got to put the headband back on, dude. It should.
I will.
We got to challenge. You got to get it in there for us, man. That's awful. All right, we'll run down the scoreboard, talk some best bets when we come back here on the grid.
Where he is. He's not in the low block.
Hey,
he's on the wing.
Yeah, but he's back.
He pounds in. He's throwing elbows, too.
That's a man move.
That's a grown man move, but he's throwing elbows. The steal. The foul. No call. No call.
Look
the Silver Fox missed another one. The humanity.
In the corner, Caleb Love, the arms are up. Come on, I haven't had a touch in a minute.
25.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Betting in game, there's a big difference, right? Like the computer changes the number so often. Like I tried to get this in right now, but in reality, as I saw plus 165 in the arena, they're hitting the shot, and I'm getting this like a couple of seconds late. And even the sports book, like technology can only travel so fast.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. PrimeTime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, and we are PrimeTime here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan, Taylor Mathis here as a quick look at the scoreboard. And, well, it's all trash in the NBA right now, although the Hornets have made a pretty good comeback right now. They're down 10 in the third here, 70-60. We also have, I mean, who'd have thunk it, the Nets and Raptors. Two teams racing to get tee times. It's actually pretty good here, 49-45 right now. The Celtics dropped 74 on the Hawks in the first half. 74. And the Knicks also at the break, 59-42 over Detroit. But I will remind folks, that closed as a 17-point Knicks favorite. So the total was 211, and the side was minus 17. My goodness. Hey, good news. The Phoenix Suns. Yeah, they're still not good. 34-27 here, Taylor, but you already cashed your Durant prop, so who cares? But I'm very interested with this Rockets and Trailblazers game because it's 28-25 right now, the end of one. And boy, oh boy, the Trailblazers with literally nobody hanging tough here with the Rockets, Dave. You think it continues?
No. I'll do a you.
No.
I listen, we got to get to Taylor's best bets. Please, Taylor, give us the best bets.
I'm trying to get a live best bet right now, and you keep poo-pooing everything that I'm throwing at you.
I got baseball. I want to get T's best bet on the basketball.
Baseball on the brain. Me too, Dave.
I got Texas. I got Texas and the Red Sox on my TV. I'm getting so excited for the baseball. So give us your best bets for the basketball tonight, because I got to ask you 2 questions about divisions before you go. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Surprisingly, I have a lot of plays in the NBA tonight, even though the slate's not great. I really like Dallas -8 tonight because the Mavs are really playing some of the best basketball in the NBA right now. They've won 3 straight, 7 of their last 8. And really the keys to their success has been avoiding these massive injuries to their star players. And they're snagging victories while they are on the road with a record of 19-14. Their offense is so efficient. They're top 10 in points per game, 12th in field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage. Beyond the arc is where the Mavs are going to exploit Utah tonight. They're dead last in defending from 3. Luka Doncic is averaging 34 points a game. Kyrie Irving over 23 points a game. I think they take care of business tonight against Utah, especially because they're still missing Jordan Clarkson and Lauri Markkanen as well. Jazz, they're just not going to be able to keep up pace, so I'm going with Dallas to lay the points. I also have a slight prop there. It's kind of a fade on the Mavs. I'm going to go with PJ Washington under 10.5 points. Last I saw, he was questionable to play tonight, but he's hit this under in 8 straight games, and he's just been underachieving all season, so you could put those in a same game parlay if you like.
That was pretty good. I do have a question for you, Tail. Any interest in maybe backing Iowa tonight against West Virginia in the women's side of the bracket? Because it's actually much closer than I thought it was going to. I'm just saying, this looks a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Okay, so as a Hawkeye fan, I should have been all over Caitlin Clark in Iowa. I took the points, though. In that game, I feel like Caitlin Clark was a little rusty. I did.
Oof.
I did. I was like, I took the points. I still think I was going to come away with the win here, but I thought it was going to be a lot more competitive and much closer than we expected. Caitlin Clark looked a little rusty in her last game at the start. Of course, she does Caitlin Clark things and comes away with almost a triple-double by the end of the game. But still, just saying, she didn't look as great as I expected last game out. I was expecting this one to be a little bit closer, so I actually did not lay the points with Iowa tonight.
Did you see her catch that forearm shiver? Like,
she
was running through the lane. That looked like an old school, like Detroit Pistons trying to take Jordan out. Like, bam. That was 100%. It looked intentional to me. At least,
do they have props on her? Can you bet Caitlin Clark props?
33.5.
33.5.
She's got 9. She's 3 of 7 right now from the field. 3, so she's basically got 9 points right now. But we're in the second, so we got there's plenty of time. But that's a lot of points for her, no?
That is a lot of points.
33.
That's been the number
And
consistently.
she's always over?
No, she's not, because
No, okay, that's what I thought.
It's inflated because, Joe, not many people are thinking it through like UT going under.
Right.
Like people are coming to the window, going, hey, we can bet Caitlin Clark's point total
Props
tonight.
here, right? Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm gonna bet her
Right.
over. Like 7 or 8 out of 10 bets are on the over, just because, again, that's the way people like to bet props. You don't like to go, boy, I hope she doesn't score. So that's what the books need. But did I see
33 and a half's a lot. That's a lot of points.
That's so true, Dave. I saw a poll done today. I don't know who ran it, some media outlet, but basically doing a poll of just the public people, asking them a star within men's college basketball and a star in women's college basketball. And people can name Caitlin Clark, but they can't name anybody in men's college basketball. So if you're just a average bettor, somebody who wants to have a little bit of fun, they're going to see Caitlin Clark's points total and they're going to think she's all that. She's all that in women's basketball right now. Take the over. So makes more sense why people would do that.
Did you have the
13
Sixers
and a
on your
half.
best bet list? Did I see that on that graphic?
No.
I did.
She does, Joe. I saw it.
No.
There it is. T, you like the
Terrible.
Sixers tonight?
I do.
Nobody likes the
I'm going to
Sixers.
take the points with the Sixers.
It's
You got
a
to think about
misprint.
it. They're coming into this one still holding on for dear life there in the East with still being injury plagued. They've won 3 of their last 4, and they've dominated this matchup against the Kings over the years. They've won 10 in a row. Normally, the 76ers can lean on that offensive power from Joel Embiid and the likes of D'Anthony Melton. That's not going to be happening tonight. So they've really got to work on using their strengths there within the defense. And they're a top 10 unit defensively in almost every single category. And that's what's going to set them apart tonight against the Kings. They're top 10 in points, assists, 3-point percentage, you name it. Philly can pretty much do it. Tonight, I also think this is going to be crucial for the Sixers to win or at least keep it close to use this momentum for the rest of their schedule. If you look ahead, they have a really rough road. 4 of their next 5 games are against teams that are definitely making the playoffs. And a team like Philly that's really trying to avoid the play-in in the East, maybe try to sneak out a win tonight against the Kings, who are also trying to avoid a playoff play-in. So I'm going to take the points tonight with the 76ers.
They are terrible at home. They don't. What beam are they lighting? Like they're lighting something up, but it ain't wins for the Kings. They have been hot trash. I'm just saying they're hot trash at home here. No way can you lay that kind of number with them, especially after a pretty good game last night by Philadelphia to handle the business there. But you've got those are the best bets then, right? We didn't miss anything else disgusting going on here tonight because there are some terrible games happening. And
look at that big spread,
come on.
Joe. Look at the big one.
No, I didn't want the big one.
Memphis?
Oh, stop.
Who in the world likes Memphis?
I do.
Why?
I do.
Me.
I do.
Me too.
Yes. Absolutely, Tal. Absolutely. You have to like Memphis now.
If you look at the numbers a little bit, the Grizzlies are 2-1 against the spread in their past 3 games as double-digit underdogs, and they're 8-2 against the spread in the past 10 games as underdogs of 9 or more points. The Nuggets are saying that Jokic and Jamal Murray are both 50-50 to play tonight, which makes me like the Grizzlies even more. And it would make sense if you have your stars sit in this one with the Suns and the Timberwolves on deck for the Nuggets. Denver's also failed to cover in 3 of their last 4. It's a big number. I'm going with the big number. And I like Desmond Bane over his rebounds number of 3.5 as well. He's hit this over 70% of the time through his last 10 road games.
14 of 16 since the All-Star break. Denver has won here. They have been, scorched earth here, doing their very best to secure that number 1 spot there. And I can't say I blame them. 9-game winning streak. Oh, actually, they lost to Dallas with that buzzer beater at the end, I guess, with Kyrie, right? That was the only game they lost.
Yeah.
Outstanding. I mean, other than that, but I do think that this could be the break where if you're going to, and it's not 6, it's 15. So they'll still win, but my goodness, it wouldn't shock me if 1 or 2 or maybe even all 3 with those teams on deck, Tal. It's a great point. They've got bigger fish to fry, and I don't think Memphis is going to be at the top of their list. Did you go with? I watched that Houston Cougars Texas A&M game last night, and we were on air and in-game live, and all I kept saying was the single worst refs I have ever seen in my entire life. So one-sided. Until I watched the Lakers and the Pacers last night and saw the Lakers had 43 shots from the free throw line to 14 of the Indiana Pacers.
Crazy.
And the Pacers lost by 5. And now they got to take on the Clippers here tonight. So what was that, a Pacers play I saw there?
Yes, I like the Pacers team total over 112.5 against the Clippers tonight.
Love that.
Indiana, I mean, they give all the effort to the high octane offense, and the Pacers rank second in both offensive rating and effective field goal percentage. They put up 121 points or more in 7 of their last 10 games. And the 3 times they didn't came against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Orlando Magic, 3 of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And the Clippers, they just don't fit that mold. They're pretty much middle of the pack, everything defensively. You would think with players on the court like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George for LA that they'd be a gritty defensive team, but they just haven't been this season. I like the Pacers team total over 112.5.
They almost scored 300 points last night, Joe, in that game between the Lakers and the Pacers.
43 to 14 at the foul line. That's absurd. Absolutely absurd. I mean, of course it went almost 300 points. Think of how many free shots they got. And they still only lost by 5, which I thought was kudos to Indiana. And I'm with you here. Is Harden going to play defense tonight? Like, I don't see them flipping a switch and all of a sudden being like, all right, we're going to lock everyone down. Please.
I like Harden under his assist total, too. 9.5. Just like a little too high for me.
I agree. And it's not like they had to travel, right? They had Lakers last night.
Right. Same
city.
Across the street.
Done. Yeah, absolutely done. We're seeing Iowa laying 14.5 right now over West Virginia. You took the points. How many did you get pre-flop?
I got it at 14.5 as well.
Okay, so we're right where we started from, 26 to 19, Iowa and West Virginia. How chalky were they to win it all, Iowa?
Plus 650.
It's the women's side.
I didn't think 600.
You saw it, really? I thought it was 4 or 5. Like, I thought they were extremely chalky. Yeah, but they're going to win it anyway.
Do we think they're going to do it?
Oh, South Carolina might have been the chalk. Yeah, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Minus 130 now. Ooh.
Minus 130? Wow. Wow. Well, listen, we won't tell anyone that you bet against your Iowa Hawkeyes. We'll keep it our secret here. Nobody needs to know that you completely bet against them and you're rooting against Caitlin Clark. But I'm just saying, we'll take a look at David Caruso or Sal Caruso, whoever the Caruso dude is. We'll look at him next.
Look where he is. He's not in the low block.
Hey,
he's on the wing.
Yeah, but he's back.
He pounds in. He's throwing elbows, too.
That's a man move.
That's a grown man move, but he's throwing elbows. The steal. The foul. No call. No call. And Silver Fox missed another one. The humanity.
In the corner, Caleb Love, the arms are up. Come on, I haven't had a touch in a minute.
25.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Betting in-game, there's a big difference, right? Like the computer changes the number so often. Like, I tried to get this in right now, but in reality, as I saw plus 165 in the arena, they're hitting the shot. And I'm getting this like a couple of seconds late. And even the sports book, like, technology can only travel so fast.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in as we look to close out this first hour of In-Game Live Prime Time. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan, Taylor Mathis hanging with us here, and a quick check-in with Sal Caruso, which is Alex's brother. Apparently, he has just as many points for the Chicago Bulls as Alex does. Did you say 2 points, I think, last time we checked here? How is that prop?
2 points, 8 minutes, one assist, and 0 rebounds.
2-1.
Yeah.
We got to get loose.
Dave, you got to burn the headband. Burn the headband now. He is dead to us. Dead to us.
Don't go talk to Alex.
Never again. Never again on this show will we back him and your headband, Dave. That was a terrible bet. Absolutely terrible. Taylor, on your way out of here, do you have one final best bet for us on the way out? Which one of these games do you like the most?
Ooh. Actually, you know what? Instead, I'm going to give you, just as I was saying, I've placed like 20 MLB futures plays for this upcoming season. I'm going to give you an MLB futures bet that I like. I took Corey Bellinger over 23 and a half home runs this year for the Chicago Cubs. Love that play. He had 26 last year, top 10 in batting average. I think with the pay that he's getting from the Cubs and staying with them for another year, I'm hoping he's going to keep it rolling and be kind of the heart and soul of this Cubs offense. Keep it going, go over that 23 and a half home runs. Also like Yordan Alvarez for the Astros over his home runs total as well for this season.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Bellinger.
You only got a couple seconds. Remove your Cubs fandom for 1 second. Are they going to win that division? Are they going to win that division?
I think it's up in the air. I like the Reds. I put money on the Reds to win the NL Central. So I guess I'm a terrible Cubs fan too.
So she bets against Caitlin Clark and our Iowa Hawkeyes. She bets the Reds over the Cubs. You are one of the best fans ever, Taylor. Outstanding stuff. She's a fan of the money, Dave. That's what I'm talking about, Taylor. Outstanding. Enjoy the rest of the night. We'll be back another hour in game live next year on the grid. Well, I didn't see that coming. Welcome in here. It is In-Game Live. We are Prime Time here, another hour on the way. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan on this Monday after the madness. We have made it through the round of 32. Sweet 16 coming up in a couple of days. We got a lot to get to on that. Yep. I'm also telling our executive producer just there on the turnaround, Dave, I didn't even have to utter the words. He knew exactly what I was talking about. After a 25-point lead at the break, the Hawks are now single digits against the Boston Celtics. Just want you to know that we could have got them at plus 28.5, Dave, and you wouldn't let us make the bet. You poo-pooed it. So just saying.
No, this is when you got to bet against the Celtics, right? Like, and I don't want to get Foster mad at us, but like, they're going to cruise down the rest of the season, right? They clinched the 1 seed with a win tonight. They clinched the best record in basketball in 5 more games. They got 12, I think, on the schedule. This is the end of the season in the NBA for the book, for the guys and the odds makers. Like, this is hard. This is when it gets really hard because you can't get a bet on the other side no matter what you do. You try to move the number, and then you root for the same 6 teams the whole rest of the way. And they're all the bad teams. But we'll get to more of that
19-8 third quarter run right now for the Hawks. We'll keep you posted on this one here. But we're all in the mood for more college basketball. Sweet 16 is coming up here. And a couple of old familiars in the Sweet 16, including UConn and San Diego State. In fact, Scotty Farrell here today had a little something here on this San Diego State team.
They had our full attention. We knew they were good. We watched how they played against Auburn, and we were focused and ready to play. And that's a credit to my team. So I'm proud of our effort. We're advancing to the Sweet 16. We're heading on the road, play a road game against UConn and Boston. And I've got a group that I think will be up for the task.
You know, I got to tell you, I love this guy. I really respect him. And I think one of the things that I like about him is that, and I said this on Bracket Central, I think, yesterday, is how calm he is. He just maintains, he stands on the sideline, he just watches his team play, he doesn't scream at anybody, he doesn't yell at anybody, he's not in anybody's face, and all these kids play their ass off for him. I think he's really cool. I don't think he's afraid of UConn. I don't think he's afraid of the moment. I don't think he was afraid last year. I think they're going to, obviously have to throw the kitchen sink at him. But I think the guy's phenomenal. I couldn't agree with you more, Mike, about your assessment of why would you leave San Diego State. He just signed a fat new extension that he deserved. And I think he's, like I said, even to Gabe, he has taken the program to heights way beyond what Steve Fisher did. Steve Fisher, they named the court after him and everything else. Someday in the near future, they're going to have to peel that off and rename it the Dutch Oven and paint a new name on that court. He's done way more, in my opinion, unequivocally, than anyone in San Diego State basketball history for that basketball program.
Scotty Farrell earlier today on Coast to Coast. Big San Diego State fan. And the coach there and Scotty's son was enrolled there at San Diego State. So I see the love for the program. But, if he wanted to, say leave that job and go to Indiana, I'm thinking Scotty would be okay with that if they fired Mike Woodson. But don't ask me. You can ask Scotty tomorrow. I'm just saying. But, hey, listen, it should be a fun – the storylines so far, Dave, have been phenomenal. Not as many consistent upsets outside of the first day, right? The 64. It's been very chalky and around a 32. But you got to love some of these storylines that we're getting. And, again, having San Diego State take on UConn, part 2, is pretty exciting.
No doubt. I love Scotty and Carver too. But Scotty sounded like he was reading from the the alumni manual right there. That's
really exactly correct.
That was a little too much over the top. I know he's maybe got the kid there.
He's trying to get his kid on the team. Yeah, he's trying to get the kid on the team.
This is what he's doing. Get him to be the team manager or something. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. But I saw San Diego State play the last game of the regular season here at UNLV. And that coach was fired up. He was yelling at the officials. He was, animated, great. It doesn't matter. If it's action begets action, let's get fired up. Let's get the team fired up. He knows how to push all the buttons. and get the rotations right, his team was in the national championship game last year. They're right where they're supposed to be. Do they have everything going against them? Absolutely. Can they pull off the biggest upset of the tournament by beating UConn? Maybe. I mean, the number tells you no. The number tells you that they might as well stay home. Don't even go to Boston to play this game. I don't know. If they ugly this game up, they can keep it close and have a shot to win it at the end as a dog going across the country. That's all I think they could ask for. I don't know, but I asked earlier, like, I don't think the UConn, if I was to rank them, they're the one seed that I think gets in the most. For me, the doubt of the one seeds, it's Houston. I'm not convinced Houston's going to beat Duke, and I'm not convinced they're going to beat Marquette after that. And I think Gonzaga can beat Purdue. That's the other one that is leaving a little bit of doubt for me. But those numbers right there tell you, I mean, look at the Midwest numbers to win that region. It's not that far apart. It's not that out of the realm of possibility. Worth a shot on the Zags.
I think it's worse than that. I think that UConn is just heads and tails above everyone else. They have been for the entire season. And anybody that has spent any time watching this team, it's, they look like a pro team, Dave. They basically shoot threes and they hit layups. Why do they hit layups? Because their motion and the way they run that offense, it's just like an NBA team. That's it. We take the wide open three, or we're basically getting layups. We're not struggling or settling. They don't do any of that, man. I mean, Newton, Klingon, Spencer, three of the top 10 players in the country right now, all on the same team with experience. They're a 10-point, 11-point favorite for a reason. If I was San Diego State, I'd want to know who I made mad that I have to face them now in the Sweet 16 as opposed to any other time, as we say hello to our radio audience from around the country here. A very happy Monday to you here on InGame Live Prime Time. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan. We got much more coming up regarding the Sweet 16. Our good friend Mark Zinno will step up here in just a few. We'll get his thoughts on who's going to be, shall we say, cutting down the nets, getting it all done. There's some levels to this, and I find the locations of these games also very interesting, Dave, which is worth looking into.
I'm a little worried about Zinno coming in hot because Zinno takes dogs a lot of times. Zinno probably is not going to be happy with the results.
I don't think Zinno has slept since last Tuesday, so I think he's going to be a little subdued. I'm just saying, we'll talk to him anyway in Game Live Prime Time.
He is. He's not in the low block.
Hey,
he's on the wing.
Yeah, but he's back.
He pounds in. He's throwing elbows, too.
That's a man move.
That's a grown man move, but he's throwing elbows. The steal. The foul. No call. No call. The Silver Fox missed another one. The humanity.
In the corner, Caleb Love, the arms are up. Come on, I haven't had a touch in a minute.
25.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Betting in game, there's a big difference, right? Like the computer changes the number so often. Like, I tried to get this in right now, but in reality, as I saw plus 165 in the arena, they're hitting the shot. And I'm getting this like a couple of seconds late. And even the sports book, like, technology can only travel so fast.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats and fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And welcome back in here, In-Game Live, a prime time here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan. Dave, I was thinking, I don't know what kind of sick individual you would have to be to place a wager on the Detroit Pistons here tonight in any way, shape, or form. I would imagine that kind of person there probably not good. Maybe hadn't slept in a while here as we welcome in our good friend Mark Zinno, by the way, joining us here. Zin, how are you, man? It's been a long weekend, man. What do you got tonight? You on anything?
I might have thrown a couple of darts in the dark, and it might have landed on the Detroit Pistons in the first half.
Wow.
They scored 13 points in the first quarter of an NBA basketball game, which is exactly the same number of points that my niece's high school basketball team scored in the first quarter of the game. So, we can move on from that. Look, when you went through a weekend of Saturday and Sunday where you played one money line favorite to get through to the Sweet 16, and the one money line favorite you played was Baylor, and it was the only one to not hit. It is. I mean, we are just capping off what was a horrific weekend for anybody who thought they were sharp in college basketball. Wow. I figured the best way to cure that bad luck was to bet on the Detroit Pistons, and it didn't work out either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea, Dave. I had no idea. He is coming in hot, Dave. He's coming in hot, like you said.
This might be the case. I figured that might be the case. So how do you partake when you take in your March Madness, Mark? Were you on the air? Were you watching the games? Were you betting? Is it literally the marathon, the day? Like, you got the kids, leave me alone. I got to watch the basketball. You got apps open. How do you do it?
Well, I left the kids and decided they were better off.
That a boy, Zen. That a boy.
As I went to the sports book at Turning Stone up in New York for with a bunch of buddies. And I took away a couple of valuable lessons. Look, I would tell you this much: a couple of genuine takeaways. One, betting teams that live and die by the three in the tournament is a very dangerous proposition. Just look at Michigan State. They hit them in the opener against Mississippi State. They did not hit them pretty much for most of the game against North Carolina. BYU, a team that lives and dies by the threes, didn't make them in the first round. They got an early exit. So just understand, when you're betting on a team or betting against a team that lives and dies by the three, you're accepting a certain amount of volatility and risk that you just genuinely can't account for, because nothing really goes the way the regular season did, right? Everything is just different in the tournament. I've also learned for the second year in a row that if I'm going to bet on Drake in the NCAA tournament, I'm betting on them in the first half, because for the second year in a row, the second half collapse by Drake cost me a win, and that didn't go well. I got kicked in the you-know-whats by a bad backdoor cover with NC State. Even though they got to overtime, they were up by 9. I caught the early number at 6.5. Didn't wait for late. Didn't wait for the 6 or even the 5.5 that popped up. So when they made 3 things happen down the stretch in that game, the chuck up 3 that went in, the failure to get fouled after the miss that they had, and there was one of the thing that happened in the sequence there. But anyway, they didn't cover by a half point. It was pretty much a bloodbath, Dave, all around for the weekend. It was one of those memories you'd rather forget, if that makes sense.
Well, Dave, here's some numbers for you. You ready?
Yep.
Double-digit favorites, 15-2 straight up, 14-3 against the spread this weekend. The best ATS mark in recorded history here during the tournament. Top 4 seeds, 26-4 straight up, 21-9 against the spread. Also another ATS history making. Now this is coming, Dave, after a year of which we didn't even have a number 1 seed in the Final Four. Like the 1 seeds were all out. It was a free for all. Yeah. How much, Dave, do you think that played into it? That whole, hey, guess what? We did have some upsets on the first day, which I think only stroked the flames. And that was what was going on. Do you remember a year, Dave, at the counter where it was this unbelievably chalky?
It played into me getting my ass. That's what it did. It played into
well,
that's what happens. No, there was 1 or 2 where this happened, but it always, I know a lot of people's approach was to Sunday bet the dogs because it's going to turn, and it didn't turn. Now, where it will turn will be Thursday and Friday. I really think so. Like when you see the spreads, games are better.
I mean, how much tighter can they make the lines? Because again, you're in a scenario now where there's not really a lot of unknowns. I always appreciate when chalk comes through. I actually think you're getting a better tournament, although people don't want to say that. You're getting a better tournament now. Like the idea that we're going to get 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3, the way you're going to get better quality games. So I personally enjoy it as a fan, but the lines, when you take those 2 levels of teams, regardless, whether it's an NCAA tournament or a non-conference game in December, the lines are tighter because there's more of a data sample and a size sample with the teams against each other. I don't know how much tighter you can make these lines. And sometimes I think you just kind of throw out, like when you start seeing numbers roll in. I try to remind everybody this, as a group of us, we're all betting. Guys, you can't get so caught up in the money. There's not 130 college basketball games. There's 8 of them. So there's only 8 games to bet from. So the money is going to be pouring in weird ways that you wouldn't expect to see. I try not to let that affect my decision making. Same thing in the NFL playoffs, right? You can say, "Oh, there's a lot of money coming in on this." Well, you got 5 games to choose from. That's it. So everybody's betting on the same 5 games. So how do you deal with that?
And of the same 5 games, they're betting the same 3 or 4 sides. There's only 1 or 2 games that have a difference.
Yep. Yeah, and you also just throw the spreads out. I mean, at this point, just pick the winner and play the money line. I mean, it's not going to. The winner is going to cover. And I also think it's safe to say at this point in the tournament, Zin, that they got lucky is out the window. You've got Clemson playing the best basketball of their season right now. They're peaking at the right time. You've got same thing with North Carolina State. Throw the seeding out and just look at what they're doing right now. And we see this year after year. Teams they just evolve and it kicks in. And it's kicked in for Clemson and North Carolina State. People are going to be waiting for the wheels to fall off. I don't know that they do here anymore at this point.
No, I tend to agree. Look, and I'll make this in because I've made it religiously, and I made it since Selection Sunday when the brackets came out, even though, we all holistically agreed Virginia didn't belong in this tournament. What teams do in the tournament is or is not validation whether they should or should not be here, right? Like, it was still a down year in the ACC regardless. Like, that's not a refutable point at this point. Just because North Carolina, an 11 seed, you kind of went on an incredible run to get here, it doesn't mean it's not a down year. It doesn't validate NC State being in this tournament. If they don't if they don't win the conference tournament, they're not in, period. They don't belong here other than getting an automatic qualifier. So that's one thing I thought that was interesting. The other thing, too, is I looked at, I still have 3 futures live in Arizona, Iowa State, and Marquette. But I was halfway tempted today. I'm still getting 10-1 on North Carolina. That feels a little bit heavy to me, given the way they played their 2 first-round games. Now, again, I know they're going to have to go through the bottom end of their bracket. That's very difficult against an Arizona team that's actually a shorter favorite to win the title. But 10-1 for North Carolina still feels pretty hefty, all things considered.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
They're not favored in that game. That number
that's what it's
is
telling
going to
you,
be right. If they play, what is it, 2? Probably 2.5. You know, Arizona favored. That's, I mean, just kind of thinking it out with the numbers. I don't know. I was impressed with them. Now, that was a gift. Raineri, you said it. Couldn't wait to bet North Carolina against Michigan State. Could not wait.
Yes.
I said, why is that number so short?
Stunk
It's short
high heaven.
because they kept taking the 3.5 and 4. That was a public dog that didn't end
They
well.
got my money.
Yeah, they got him. They got you.
Yeah. And it was so funny because anybody that bet Michigan State afterward goes, I got to have my head examined for betting this Michigan State team. They did this all year. Exactly. Zeno, appreciate it. In-game live prime time. Back after this.
Look where he is. He's not in the low block.
Hey, this is
He's on the wing.
Yeah, but he's back.
He pounds in. He's throwing elbows, too.
That's a man move.
That's a real man move, but he's throwing elbows. The steal. The foul. No call. No call.
But look
The
who it
Silver
was.
Fox missed another one. The humanity.
In the corner, Caleb Love, the arms are up. Come on, I haven't had a touch in a minute.
25.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Betting in game, there's a big difference, right? Like the computer changes the number so often. Like, I tried to get this in right now, but in reality, as I saw plus 165 in the arena, they're hitting the shot, and I'm getting this like a couple of seconds late. And even the sports book, like, technology can always like travel so fast.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, and we are prime time here on the Monday after as we try to put it all together here, make heads or tails of the round of 64, then a round of 32. We got a couple of days here before the Sweet 16. Some lessons learned. And, of course, some new bets to make here. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan. Mark Zinno in for a second segment with us. I know that mostly because he's still here, and that's really all that matters. So, Zin, we were talking about, at this point in the tournament, you're here because you deserve to be here, right? The luck factor goes out. But we were just talking, UConn is the highest spread in here, 10.5, 11. And that's it. I mean, everything else, 7.5, Arizona, 3.5, 1.5. Everything else, it feels like throw it out the window. It's a coin flip. Just pick the winner and bet them. That's it. Except UConn. I don't want to get in front of this train on any level. I don't want to get in front of it.
Really hard to. Look, I mean, this is a rematch of last year's final, right? And the other thing I looked at, too, was the total for that game at 135.5 was a little interesting because, look, they played to 130.5 last year was the total there, and they just got over it. I think there's more scoring involved here than we want to give credit for. I mean, think about it. At an 11-point spread now, how does Connecticut cover that number and it still stay under? That's got to be a 70 to 60 final, 70 to 59 final, right? So you have to believe the over is correlated to San Diego State and the under is correlated to UConn because that means UConn is preventing San Diego State from scoring if you kind of correlate the total and the side, right? I mean, again, at 10.5 and 135, just work the numbers out. 70 to 60 keeps you under, but you're very tight in that window. So, I mean, if you could look at it and say, should I bet San Diego State's team total? If they get to 65, in theory, they should cover the thing. In theory, if not, it goes over.
Zin, go back to the weekend while you were up there. Was the buzz like? What was the vibe in the book? Because I bopped around a bunch of places in Vegas. We did a couple live shows from Resorts World. There were moments during the day where there was a lull, and it was like, but then at night, the night games were just tremendous, and it was late.
They were good.
It was late in Vegas. I mean, so you're back east at a joint, like the real stuff was really felt like it was the night games. And were you tired by then? I mean, like if you get beat up all day, you're going to.
I was broke more than I was tired, and being broke makes you tired because you just contemplate whether you even be here anymore. So there is that. But I'll say this much. I'll say it was the one moment I do remember in the early games, the Dayton, Arizona game. I don't know if you guys remember this. I forget what the final was. The total was right on the edge. I think it was like 156.5 was the total, and they were at 156. And you saw that guy from Arizona start sprinting down the court like he was going to lay it up and in. And the entire book just took a click. Like they were not believing what was going to happen if he was going to lay that up and in. I wasn't on the game, so I was kind of hoping he did it just because I wanted to hear the collective gasp and watch the whole place lose its mind. Of course, if I was on the game, I would have shot somebody. But that's neither here nor there. So, but you're right. Like the NC State game, too, when that game went to overtime. Again, I laid the 6.5 with NC State, so I wanted the. I was just so tired of that Gorky gonorrhea kid, whatever his name is. Every time he took a shot, dear Lord, you would have thought that it was Michael Jordan reincarnated. Oh my God, and he was chucking these things up in that game. They had no shot of going in. But I mean, they just kept showing his face on TV, and it was just like, I'm like, we need to get rid of this team. I can't watch this anymore. And so that was a game that brought a lot of excitement, within the book itself, just because obviously it was the first one to go to overtime. And that was another one. NC State was covering that game with like 3 minutes left, and all of a sudden it just disappeared. I mean, it was the same thing with Houston and A&M, like up by with 3 minutes left. You're like, okay, we're going to get out of here, and then gone. Game disappeared. So, but I agree. I think much similar to the NFL playoffs where it's like, hey, just pick the winner, forget the spread, right? Because typically that's kind of the way things go. I think it's a good philosophy to head into the Sweet 16 with. Think about who's going to win the game, and then don't worry about the number and just go.
So is it? I don't know if you knew this here, but the public is 38-13 against the number in this. I don't know if you knew that, Zin. So I believe it's the most profitable public tournament in the history of tournaments here. But there's going to be one game coming up here at some point, Zin, where they're going to get caught with their hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. So who is it? Who is it?
I think the public is going to jump all over Gonzaga, and I think Purdue is going to beat them senselessly.
Ooh.
I mean, look,
love it.
Everybody continues to undervalue Purdue, right? Like they're not that good. And I genuinely feel bad for Zach Edey. I don't know if I can remember a college player who's gotten dumped on more for being the best college player in America and a guy who really looks like he's going to translate so easily to the next level just because of his skill set. I think we continue, and they do it right? I mean, like, you watch NC State with that big Stay Puft Marshmallow in the middle, and what they do with him. And, as soon as he gets double teamed, he's smart enough to kick the ball out. But that's Purdue's entire game. But they have other shooters. They have Braden Smith. They have other guys who can make things happen. That number, to me, that may be the one game that I just jump on early, just because I think the number is going to actually get shorter, but. I can tell you, I would be surprised if the public jumped on Purdue. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to load up on Gonzaga because, it's Gonzaga and, they're better, and Purdue is going to be fake. They're a team that lost to a 16 seed. Like, you start to build all these narratives around this team to think that last year is this year, and it's not. And this is the kind of game right here, guys. If they get past this game, they may be in the national final when it's all said and done. I think that this is the real game that they've got to get past. Because if they win this game, I think they know they're better than everybody else in front of them. And when you look at what they have coming up next between Creighton and Tennessee, it's a bad matchup for both of those teams. Like, Creighton's going to have the lights out, and Tennessee's defense is great, but I don't know if they can defend the inside-out game that Purdue plays for 40 minutes.
And they go through those scoring laws. Tennessee does.
Yes.
There's two NBA scores of note I just want to mention. Celtics and Hawks are tied 107-107 now. And the Trailblazers are actually beating Houston. They're beating the Rockets right now, 64-58, 6 minutes to go in the third. The other Houston, though, Zin. What about Houston in college? Can Duke actually beat Houston? They look like they're leaking bad with those free throws at the end of that game. They looked very unsure as a team started, as Texas A&M got a little momentum. Everybody was looking around going, well, wait, what do we do? What do we do? I was surprised by that number. That number's a little bit low, is it not?
I mean, it does feel that way. But again, I think part of that is that the odds makers are making lines super tight here, and they're going to hold these lines much longer than they did during the opening two rounds, right? They're going to force you to really put them to a decision where to move these lines. But you're talking about big styles make fights here. Like, Duke needs to continue to play with pace. They need to make shots, obviously, and they need to be more athletic than Houston is. Houston's just going to be big and clunky and try to grind that pace down. And if they can do that and Duke isn't making shots, then and guess what? It can get out of hand pretty quickly for Duke. Now, they have catch-up ability because, again, they can shoot and they can run. But, it's one of those games where it might be wise to wait and see how the first 5 minutes go and bet it live, just because if Houston gets down early, I don't like their ability to catch up unless they can grind the pace to a halt and keep Duke from scoring. So it is the most contrasting style matchup within the Sweet 16 here between these all powerhouse teams here. I mean, you got a ton of blue blood programs here. I'm curious more than anything about Alabama and North Carolina, just simply because we saw Alabama against College of Charleston, and it was laughable. They were up by 30, and they're still sprinting the ball up the court with like 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
All you asked them to do is just dribble the damn thing out and slow everything. Nope. Nate Oates had no desire whatsoever. We're just going to run up as fast as we can. If Alabama has a scoring drought like they did against Grand Canyon, they're going home. And it could get out of hand early. They can't – they score 17 points in the first 11 minutes of the first half? You just didn't expect to see that at all. So that's another one where style is going to dictate who's going to play. And Nate Oates' philosophy, it's either at the rim or from range, rim or range, right? Either you're right under the rim and laying it in, or you're taking a three-pointer. There's going to be no mid-range jump shots for Alabama in that game.
It's the lowest total for an Alabama game if you go back at least a month. I don't remember a total below 171. So this total, that's an interesting one too. I'm glad you brought that one up. What about Clemson? What I honestly like, do they have a shot? This is the one that everybody's like going, they're lucky, they shouldn't be here, blah, 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 blah. And Arizona's ticket is already punched to the Elite Eight. That's one that everybody's dismissing.
Well, I think people undervalue Arizona a little bit just because, again, nobody's staying up that late to watch them on a regular basis, right? Unless you're the degenerates that we are. Beyond that, it's a really high-scoring team, and they have one of the more elite offenses in the country. And when you look at kind of where they are, it's a question of whether the shooting for Clemson can keep up. They've shot better than 55% in both of these games. If they're in the high 40s, it's not going to be enough against Arizona. They can't miss, because if they miss early and Arizona just pushes and scores, you're asking Clemson a lot to catch up in that game. They got to do it on both fronts. They got to sit on a really good offense and make shots.
It's amazing. We just spent 2 segments and didn't bring up Illinois once. Mark Zinno, appreciate it, my man. Best of luck. Enjoy.
Look where he is. He's not in the low block.
Hey, this is
He's on the wing.
Yeah, but he's back.
He pounds in. He's throwing elbows, too.
That's a man move.
That's a real man move, but he's throwing elbows. The steal. The foul. No call. No call.
But look
The
who
Silver
won.
Fox missed another one. The humanity.
Oh, in the corner, Caleb Love, the arms are up. Come on, I haven't had a touch in a minute.
25.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Betting in game, there's a big difference, right? Like the computer changes the numbers so often. Like, I tried to get this in right now, but in reality, as I saw plus 165 in the arena, they're hitting the shot, and I'm getting this like a couple of seconds late. And even the sports book, like, technology can always like travel so fast.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in on this Monday. It is InGame Live Prime Time here on the Sports Grid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan, and we welcome in our good friend taking over at the top of the hour here with Sports Rage, Cam Stewart in the house. And Cam, we asked our previous guest, Mark Zinno, how his weekend was, and he's apparently living in his car. So I'm guessing not well. I'll ask you, how did your weekend go, Cam, exactly?
Not brutal. Like, actually, other than Baylor really killed me because I have them in one pool, like going deep. So that one hurt. But I was on Texas Tech against Houston. They could have won that game outright, Joe. Like, and when it went to overtime, like that's the whole thing. These games when they go to overtime, when you have the dog like Oakland, I'm like, please, come on, gambler, throw me a bone. Like, you know what I mean? And you get scared. But you know, I know Pat and those guys had James Madison, and it just seemed like, you know, that was a good team, and Duke looked really, really good that game. And this is the thing, guys. These games change like from one day to the next. It's like it's the opposite world. And if you think you got this stuff figured out, nobody does. You could be the best capper in the world, and it's just absolutely shocking to me. Very impressed with the ACC, the way they're playing, though. And I heard, Zinno, you guys talking about North Carolina. They look amazing. Like, that's the whole thing. And I don't even think they hit the accelerator button yet. They look like they're doing it kind of on cruise control. So that's one of these teams that I think would be very, very dangerous. They could beat you inside. And I take a look at all these other teams. What do? Like, I look at Marquette, and they're good, but they shoot three. What happens when their shooters go ice cold? They're done. And it's a lot of those type of teams. And I have features on these guys. UConn looks great, but I'm saying if you got a piece of North Carolina, I think that's pretty good. Arizona's been better than expected, I guess, in that tournament, you know, but their numbers aren't really that great for if you're looking for futures guys. But yeah, it's been a great tournament so far. The first day was wild, and, you know, San Diego State took Yellow to the woodshed. And I got to be honest with you guys, it's been better than bad, but it's not been – it's one of those things. It's really, really hard to, like, clean up in this type of tournament. That's what I think. I'm just hoping the futures come in. Yeah.
It's a meat grinder.
Yeah.
But speaking of meat grinders, San Diego State's playing UConn, right? That's the biggest spread. The smallest spread is the other game in that bracket. Iowa State is playing Illinois. Joe's concerned because we haven't said the word Illinois or the team Illinois for about an hour. No one's mentioned them. No one's talking about them. They cruised 2 games. I think this is the hardest game of the tournament, Cam, of the Sweet 16.
I love the Cyclones, but don't get me wrong. Like, I'm looking at some of the teams like they're competing with in the Big 12. Like, this is the thing. These narratives, and we're usually wrong. Like the Big 12, oh, they're the best. Well, they beat the crap out of each other all year. Oh, the Big 10 sucks. Do they? I don't know. They're looking pretty good to me, some of their teams. They look all right, other than Northwestern, and they played UConn. Like, what do you want from these guys? You know what I mean? So I'm looking at the situation going, I think Illinois is undervalued, Dave. I would take Illinois in that game. Another one, NC State's had a nice little run. Like, I don't know how they're doing it, to be honest with you. I know they're playing great basketball. I'll give them credit, but already Marquette, that's in money line parlays. I'll lay the 6.5 because I don't trust them. Duke and Houston, I look at the spread and go, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do here? Actually, I like and what about Tennessee over Creighton? I don't know what to say. Tennessee, I think they can beat Creighton. I'm having problems with these games, though. They're these tough spreads like that Baylor game. I'm like, ooh, this one looks so easy. And what happens? Clemson wins outright. Baylor tries to come back, and then they just run out of time. That's the whole problem with that situation. Joe, still the golf world too. Like, you know, everyone's got Cameron Young. I'm losing to a guy with a bucket hat and a yellow ball, and Peter Malnati. Like, I should really stop this. Like, I'm just like, my God. I'm like, you tie it up, you put one in the thing. I'm like, and I got Ryan Moore at 150 to 1. I'm like, come on, Moops. He can't, like, Moops is missing every 5-foot putt. Then KH Lee puts one in the trees. I'm like, here we go again. Gotta love Sunday on the PGA Tour, and losing to a guy that wears worse hats than me in the sun. Dave, I wear bucket hats as well, but I'll tell you, I don't play with a yellow ball. I never will.
That's a good point.
I told someone on Sunday, the in-game golf will literally test every bit of intestinal fortitude you have when there's more than 3 guys or more in contention. The odds swing so much on every shot, and then you got a guy coming like that. I was thinking of you yesterday, Cam. I'm like, I guarantee he does not have this guy. There's no chance. I hope the girlfriend told him to do something.
If you have Peter Malnati, show me your ticket. because I don't believe you.
Exactly.
That's not. Show me your ticket.
Yeah.
But it could be an AI ticket. It could be forged or a forgery. Anyway, all I know is this: Rory McIlroy's on the policy board, and he can't hit a fairway. Malnati joins, and all of a sudden he's the next coming of like Arnold Palmer. The guy wins when he joins the PGA advisory board. Anyway, This is not a conspiracy show. This is not Unsolved Mysteries. We're here to give picks. Under 6.5 in the hockey game, LA and Vancouver. Dave, I was looking to maybe take a shot with the Blues live down 1-0 to your Vegas Golden Knights. Probably under in that game as well, but that total's way too low. Women's basketball, 10 o'clock. I don't know. And you guys know me. I'm just the opposite. It's kind of like Scott Wetzel's opposite picks, but I'm more than opposite picks. I don't understand this line here. I don't know what they're trying to do. The Gonzaga ladies are a 30-win team. Utah's a great team. It's 5 versus 4. They've won 25, and the line's 1.5 in Spokane, Washington. Give me the Utah Lady Utes plus 1.5 plus 102 money line. I'm betting women's basketball tonight because, God, I can't win a golf tournament with Peter Malnati. Might as well take a shot with something else. God, that pissed me off.
Big shout out to Xander Schauffele for shooting 65 on this Sunday.
Imagine, think about Brady Cannon. He had Schauffele, and then he's watching this guy go deep on Sunday, going up, just missed by a couple shots. Like, way to show up on Sunday and get a bigger paycheck. It just drives me nuts. This stuff. Oh, and then you got another guy for a top 20. Joe, I have a matchup bet. Brendan Todd, I got Svensson. It paid whatever. My guy shoots a 77 to his 76. I got another one. My guy shoots a 78 to his 77. I'm like, how the heck is this happening? Like, it's just the torture. The torture.
Well, you got Houston Open here. Are you going for the or is it going to be like the three-peat here? Or are we going with I mean, how do you bet against them here? I mean, the man is I don't think you can, Scotty Scheffler. You can't bet against him.
I don't know what to do, Joe. But I'm going to tell you this. Like, what do we do? Take Scotty Scheffler with a tournament? You know what? I was actually thinking for the Masters, and Carver and me and Gabe were talking about it. Like, Scheffler to win the Masters with, like, a bunch of NCAA futures to jack it up.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do now. We basically build, like, we start with a bungalow and we build a tower, and every key brick is Scotty Scheffler. Like, he's there everywhere. Like, how do I get rid of this guy? I can't. Know one thing, on Sunday, he's going to be there if he's fighting for a tournament. So I'm with this guy. I don't know how you guys feel about the NBA tonight. To be honest with you, I'd rather watch the ladies' college basketball rather than I don't know if you guys got any leans. I'm just kind of
looks like a golf tournament. I got 14 under. I got 12 under.
Yeah,
I got 11 under.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, I got guys live at 150 to 1 that are going deep, and I'm like, and then right when they're making a move, miss putt. Trees.
Yep.
I was just like, can you work for me one day, Dave? Can you just help me, man?
You have to please make sure that you ask Morency on the show at some point tonight. Did you see the tweet that the guy tweeted at us that said there's 2 people involved in possible, gambling issues and scandals, and he called it, there's one link between the 2. Who's a Dodger fan and who's a Raptors fan. And he called it the curse of Morency in the tweet. He tagged us. I saw that Dante Porter story, and I thought, this can't be real. But this is one of those ones that we talk about while we're here doing this stuff, where we see a number, and we're like, wait a second. He's been going under that number a lot, and it doesn't get adjusted. Yeah. Were you surprised by that today?
Well, this is the world we're living in. Like, how did the guy get caught in the college baseball? Hey, I got an idea. Let's go to where the Reds play baseball and bet on college baseball. Good move, no moron. Like, you know what I mean? It's like when you're looking at trends now. Look at Temple. They're like, people are watching these games and stuff like that. Money's being exchanged, right, Dave? Like, before in the old days, who cares? Like, it was like, I know I'm watching the game. I believe that team is point shaving. What can I do about it? Nothing. I'm me. Now you have guys in investigative groups looking at them going, okay, that looked weird, that looked weird, that one looked weird. We have a correlation. This team, this is what's happening. Yeah. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't want to say this stuff's been happening since gambling. Now it's just more that there's actually people to catch them. It's like there's more cops on the street. Everybody's looting and rioting, but now there's more enforcement of this stuff. It's been going on forever.
Right.
You know it, Dave. Dave, you worked in the book.
That's regulated. That's regulation for you.
Yes.
Yep, that's regulation for you. But
It
this
is
guy,
regulation.
but again, you're always going to get the, guys like this are always going to, shoot themselves in the foot. Yeah, how is it on a game on March 20th against the Phoenix Suns? Most people don't even know who Porter is. They wouldn't be able to point him out in a sheet. But somehow or another, the books were all reporting that his point prop at 7.5 was the number one moneymaker that night in the NBA for the public.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's all you need to know. And not to mention that he somehow fell sick in the third quarter when he had 6 points and didn't finish the game.
Is this rocket science? This is not LeBron. This is not anybody else. This is a guy that people don't even know who he's in the league. So what are we doing here? We're betting on a guy with that much. See what I'm talking about, Dave? It's like if I was at the book and I saw him as the most bet, the first thing I do is call Dave Sharapan. If you're Dave, what's going on here? This guy's like the 500th ranked guy in props, and he is being bet the most. Like he's a popular player. The first thing I do is say, "Whoa, my flags come up already." Like if you tell me that some stiff is the most bet prop, I'm already going to tell you I got my antenna up. I'm worried, and why is this happening? So I don't understand what the deal. Like, come on, people. Like, what's the deal here? Like, honestly, what's he do? Me and that guy, an old Italian guy told us this guy has Verstappen on the weekend. His car blows up or whatever the hell happened.
Good point. Good point.
Dude, me in golf and me and that guy, Italian guy goes, "You guys are the two biggest lemons I know. You squeeze you like a lemon." And I go, "Yeah, I am a lemon." I go, "How do we shake it up?" He goes, "Well, you could have you go for a bath in tomato juice." I go, "That doesn't really sound like fun." But you know what, Joe? To shake off my bad luck on Sundays in golf, I'll bathe in lava, let alone tomato juice.
Yeah. That might work. That's good for the skin. You know what else you
know
can do?
what works really good, though? I'll tell you this, Jim.
Yeah.
Well, NIT is good, but I'll tell you what. Just find out who Otani's taking, and I don't think we can go wrong, Cam. You're right.
He's the
give me your Otani. We're good.
I want Otani's picks. Like he had Peter Monati, don't you know? He's the only guy who does.
He was the only guy on it. He was the only guy on him. Yep, double down too. Disgusting.
God, that'll just help us. It really is, Joe.
We're all old enough because seriously, we like. I took all this news today, and my phone's been lighting up, and people want to comment and what. Like I'm like, look. I don't know what to tell you why it's happening more. I don't think it's happening more. I said what you said.
No.
I'm like, now we know.
Now
there's
we know.
more avenues to talk about.
Exactly. And you couldn't catch people before. Yeah.
Everybody's got this relationship now. I equated it to this. When you line a baseball field or a softball field before the game with chalk, there's a line. You can tell what's fair and what's foul. But if there's no line, because it's all, washed out or whatever, you can't tell anymore. That's the problem.
And there's always a guy with a straw, too. There's always a guy with a straw in the stands that's going to come right out there.
I'd be very careful. A lot of these politicians want to end gambling.
Where he is. He's not in the low block.
Hey,
he's on the wing.
Yeah, but he's back.
He pounds in. He's throwing elbows, too.
That's a man move.
That's a real man move, but he's throwing elbows. The steal. The foul. No call. No call.
But look
the
who
Silver
was.
Fox missed another one. The humanity.
In the corner, Caleb Love, the arms are up. Come on, I haven't had a touch in a minute.
25.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Betting in game, there's a big difference, right? Like the computer changes the number so often. Like I tried to get this in right now, but in reality, as I saw plus 165 in the arena, they're hitting the shot, and I'm getting this like a couple of seconds late. And even the sports book, like technology can only travel so fast.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We got breaking news. I think we've lost our executive producer here for the rest of the evening as he had to watch and endure the Boston Celtics losing to the Atlanta Hawks somehow. It was 74 to 56, Dave, at the break? 74 to 56. And they just lost 120 to 118.
They led by 30. They led by 30. Thank you, Patrick, from our executive producer, who's also
my
Celtics
goodness.
fan. Led by 30. Now, Joe, I mean, I'm 53. There weren't too many games that a team led by 30 that they lost. This is a different NBA.
Wow.
We see it all the time with the in-game. I can't believe they lost, but what are they playing for? They got one more game to clinch the best record. And I think they need 4 or 5 more wins to clinch the best record overall. They can't be caught. So you're going to have nights like this. Like, does this mean they're not going to win the NBA, like the Eastern Conference now? Do you think that's...
listen, sometimes it's games like this where it starts to go the other way and starts to, it only takes one to usually all of a sudden trigger some of this. They had a 9-game winning streak. They had a 21-game winning streak against teams under 500. All of that is gone now. And they gave, I can't believe, I'm still trying to figure it out here. Tatum 37, Brown 24. And they had, the only guy they didn't have was Holiday. That was it. It was the only guy that really wasn't available to him. Porzingis was in. Horford was in. Oh, yikes. That's going to sting. So whoever they're playing next, Dave, let's look it up right now and put a sizable bet on the Celtics to bounce back in a big way here coming up. It's all about the scheduling. Who?
Guess who they play? They get to stay in Atlanta for 3 days. They're playing the Hawks on Thursday.
Second mortgage on the Celtics. Game 2. Enjoy. We'll see you again soon.